What if the single most common habit you practice daily to measure your own success is, in fact, the very architecture of your own despair? We live in a world that constantly invites us to look over our shoulder, to measure our progress against the highlight reels of others. But what if that invitation is a trap? A beautifully decorated illusion designed to keep you feeling small. The truth is, the most profound, the most meaningful, and the only truly winnable game of life isn't found by looking at others, but by turning your gaze inward, to the only competitor that truly matters, the person you were just 24 hours ago. It's a dangerous game, this relentless cycle of comparison, a truly perilous one. Why? Because the people you are measuring yourself against are phantoms in your own mind. You don't truly know them. You see their gleaming facade, their curated perfection displayed for the world, but you are completely blind to the complex, often messy, reality of their lives. There will always, without fail, be someone out there who appears to be doing monumentally better than you in almost any domain you can possibly imagine. If your entire sense of self is built upon standing in their reflected glory, the world is going to feel like a pretty damn dismal place. But here's the fundamental flaw in that logic. It is simply not a valid comparison. They are not you, have no conception of the silent struggles they were forced to endure to get where they are. Nor can you fathom the immense burdens they might be carrying right at this very moment, hidden behind a confident smile. Perhaps you're cruising down a sun-drenched California highway, and a convertible Porsche flashes past you. It's so easy to think, look at that lucky bastard. Yet for all you know, the man behind the wheel of that expensive sports car is consumed by the thought of wrapping it around the very next concrete pillar he encounters. You simply cannot tell from the outside. People lead difficult lives. Even those who appear, by all external measures, to be incredibly fortunate are wrestling with their own demons. The idealized image that you observe, the one that sparks that venomous feeling of jealousy and resentment, is largely an elaborate illusion, a phantom constructed by your own mind. You must be profoundly cautious about what you allow yourself to be jealous of, because you have absolutely no idea what it truly is. This brings us to a crucial realization. You are fundamentally, wonderfully, and irrevocably different from everyone else. You are not dealt the same hand. They do not have your specific family, your unique temperament, your private troubles, or your distinct abilities. The only person in all of human history who possesses that exact combination of variables is you. And that is why the only meaningful metric, the only game you can truly win, is to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. That is a game that is accessible to every single one of us, a path you can actually walk. And here lies a truth so profound yet so simple it's often overlooked. The potential to make yourself tangibly, measurably better is not a privilege reserved for the few. It is a capacity accessible to everyone. This isn't about grand, earth-shattering transformations overnight. It's about the quiet, revolutionary power of incremental progress. Can you be slightly better today than you were yesterday? Can you be a little more honest, a little more disciplined, a little more courageous? The answer, almost always, is yes. You can actually do that. To engage in this daily practice of slight, continual improvement is, I believe, the modern equivalent of leading a virtuous life. And speaking of virtue, let's talk about its closest cousin, truth. I have observed, time and time again, that the individuals who achieve phenomenal, sustainable success are those who do everything in their power to live a truthful life. They build their existence on the bedrock of honesty. You can get an astonishingly long way in this world simply by being honest with others, and more importantly, honest with yourself. Because a life built on deceit is a house of cards, fragile and destined to collapse at the slightest breeze, but a life built on truth, that is a fortress now. This journey of improvement requires us to be ruthlessly pragmatic. It requires us to acknowledge a reality that makes many uncomfortable. We are not all the same. There are real, meaningful differences between people, and one of the most significant is intelligence. This is not a moral judgment. It is a practical reality. If you enter a profession where you are not smart enough for the demands of the job, you are setting yourself up for a life of quiet desperation. You will endure a miserable, wretched time, constantly struggling to keep your head above water. And in your struggle, you will inevitably make life miserable for the people around you, because you simply cannot handle the complexities of the position. So, what is the strategic path forward? If you want to maximize your chances for both professional success and personal well-being, you must find a stratum of occupation where your intelligence places you in the upper quartile. Think about that. You want to be a big fish in a small pond. Not because it strokes your ego, but because that is the environment where you can truly thrive. It's the sweet spot of optimal performance and contribution. You absolutely do not want to be the stupidest person in the room. It is a rough, unforgiving, and soul-crushing place to be. But here's the paradox. You probably don't want to be the smartest person in the room either. Why? Because if you are, it's a powerful sign that you are in the wrong room. If you're the smartest one there, your growth is likely stalled. You've hit a comfortable plateau of stagnation. The room has nothing left to teach you. True growth happens when you are challenged, when you are surrounded by those who push you, who know things you don't. So the goal is to find that perfect room where you're smart enough to contribute and win, but not so smart that you stop learning and growing. So, you've found the right room. But what if your ambition isn't just to be in the room, but to be the undisputed best? What does it take to operate at the very pinnacle of a competitive hierarchy, bar none? To be the 1 in 10,000, or even 1 in 100,000? Here, the data is sobering and clear. To play at that level, having an IQ north of 145 becomes less of an advantage and more of a necessity. In some fields, you're likely pushing 160. This is the rarefied air of extreme cognitive horsepower. But even that isn't enough. This raw intelligence must be paired with two other critical traits: a high degree of stress tolerance, because the pressure at the top is immense, and a robust level of conscientiousness, because the discipline and follow-through required are relentless. Why is high intelligence such a powerful predictor of success at the top? In part, the answer is brutally simple. Smart people get there first. You can think of almost any endeavor as a race towards a valuable and difficult goal. The faster you are, cognitively speaking, the more likely you are to be at the forefront of the pack, to solve the problem before anyone else. Intelligence, in large part, is speed. When the problem is complex and the destination is challenging, the fastest minds will simply arrive there first. However, having a high-performance engine is useless if you don't have any fuel. You must put genuine effort into your life, and to do that, you need to be motivated. So, what are the fundamental sources of motivation you can tap into? We can look to the Big Five personality model as a map to your own internal wiring. Your personality isn't just a set of quirks. It's your personal operating system, and it dictates what will naturally fuel you. Consider this. If you are highly of the pursuit of friendships and social connection will be a primary source of motivational energy for you. If you are highly agreeable, your deepest drive will likely be the desire for a profound, intimate relationship. If you're disagreeable, don't fight it. Leverage it. The desire to win competitions, to be at the top, is your fuel. If you are high in openness, you will be driven by the urge to engage in creative activity, to bring something new and beautiful into the world. And if you are high in neuroticism, often seen as a negative, it can be a powerful motivator. Your fundamental drive is for security, and that can propel you to build a safe, stable, and prosperous life. You need to know what kind of person you are to know what will get you out of bed in the morning. These aren't just psychological labels. They are the keys to unlocking your own sustainable, personal drive. Alright. You've identified the fundamental drivers of your personality, the engine of your ambition. But an engine, no matter how powerful, is useless without a destination. It's time to draw the map. It's time to become the conscious architect of your own future. So, I want you to engage in a serious thought experiment. Ask yourself this potent question. If you were taking scrupulous care of yourself, as if you were someone you were genuinely responsible for helping, what would you want your life to look like in 3 to 5 years? This isn't just idle fantasy. It's a strategic design process. We need to consider the key dimensions, the great pillars that uphold a meaningful life. Let's break it down. Your friendships. What would your ideal friendships look like? Your intimate relationship. How would you want to structure your romantic life and your connection with your partner? Your family. What kind of relationships would you cultivate with your family? Your career. What do you truly want from your career or your job? Your time. How will you productively and meaningfully use your time outside of work? Your health. And this one is critical. How are you going to regulate your mental and physical health? This explicitly includes managing your drug and alcohol use, because that is a realm where lives so often get tangled and pulled down into chaos. Why is undertaking this act of future authoring so neurologically powerful? It ties directly into your incentive reward system. We often talk about the dopaminergic system, and you need to understand how it truly works. It's the system that keeps you moving forward, that generates the positive emotion of engagement. But here's the secret. It doesn't just fire when you achieve the goal. It works best. It produces that motivating positive emotion when it can see you visibly moving towards a valued goal. It's the mechanism of hope. It thrives on progress. So what is the stark, unavoidable implication of that biological reality? You had better have a valued goal. Without one, you leave your incentive reward system blind and starving. You cannot generate the very emotion that propels you through life's difficulties. Having a clear, well-defined, and meaningful destination isn't a luxury. It's a neurological necessity for a forward-moving, positive life. So now, you have your blueprint. You have a destination. But you must prepare yourself for the brutal reality of the path, especially if you are a creative person, an entrepreneur, an innovator. For you, the default position is failure. Let that sink in. The baseline expectation is that you will fail, and this is not a reflection of your worth, but a testament to the difficulty of the task. It is incredibly hard to conjure something genuinely new into existence. It is even harder to present it to the market at precisely the right time, and it is a monumental challenge to market it effectively. An idea, even a brilliant one, is not guaranteed to be successful. So, what do the successful ones do? What is the secret that separates them from those who try and then disappear? It is nothing more and nothing less than persistence. They just keep going, over and over and over and over again. This persistence, a key component of the personality trait of conscientiousness, is so profoundly useful because it enables you to run many, many experiments. You must see every attempt not as a final verdict on your talent, but as a single scientific trial. The baseline is failure. You have to know this, or you will internalize that failure and allow it to crush you. Now, some of that self-blame is useful. It's how we learn. There are almost certainly things you can improve about your approach and about yourself. But you must distinguish that from the inherent, objective difficulty of going from 0 to 1. And why does all of this matter? Why embark on this difficult journey of self-improvement, of setting goals, of persisting through failure? Because there's never been a better time for most people to be alive. We are becoming extraordinarily technologically sophisticated, and our world is changing at a dizzying rate. The future, while filled with vulnerabilities, still holds a case for being comparatively positive. But the only way we can steer this rapidly changing world in a positive direction is if each of us, or as many of us as possible, is capable of making wise, careful, and truthful decisions. If you stand up and adopt responsibility, if you commit to living a virtuous and honest life, if you improve yourself just a little bit each day, you are not just building a better life for yourself. You are casting a vote for a better future. For everyone, you become a stabilizing force in a chaotic world. And that is a goal truly worth striving for.